at all. All you need is ads. You need a Facebook account to run your ads, and you just need a Zoom account.
Today's guest is an 8-figure entrepreneur who has engineered over $10 million in sales through high-converting challenge funnels that turn complete strangers into paying customers on autopilot.
The biggest challenge that we did was a real estate offer. His name is Nuke the Entrepreneur. We did 1.3 million. Our standalone pages convert at about anywhere from 18 to 30%. You can't pull a blanket over the customer eyes and try to wow them with jets, Lambos, and all of that. It's like, bruh, we know. We look at these 4 things to tell whether a webinar is successful. We look at
Today's guest is an 8-figure entrepreneur who has engineered over $10 million in sales through high-converting challenge funnels that turn complete strangers into paying customers on autopilot. He's crossed the 7-figure mark and even done multiple 6-figure days, earning him the nickname Runway Billionaire. He's the founder of Billionaire Marketing, an 8-figure entrepreneur, and the king of low-ticket domination and high-converting challenge funnels. Morris Bowman, welcome to the Masters of Lead Generation podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. This is actually going to be a masterclass. You might have to change this to a masterclass.
Yeah, I might have to update the hook where I'm like, fuckers, this is the most crazy podcast ever. Well,
sure.
No pressure for you. Let's start with this. What is a challenge funnel? Just because anyone who hasn't done one, and not everyone's DR marketers like us, what is challenge funnel?
If they haven't done a challenge funnel, shame on them, right? But basically, a challenge funnel is just a longer version of a webinar. It's just an extended version that allows you to indoctrinate the client a lot longer, so that way you build trust, you build authority, and also just convert more to sell. So you get to spend more time with the person instead of a normal webinar that's an hour, 90 minutes, even 2 hours. You're going to do this over days, and what this funnel is going to allow you to do is give them the experience and help them execute and get more information and get more work done than they probably did all year or all month before they came to the actual challenge. So that's really the overall goal, is for you to just have the same format as a webinar, but just broken down to create a more live experience. And then also the accountability of just helping people just get there is like bar none. Like what you could get somebody to do in a 3-day or a 5-day challenge, I'm telling you, is it's going to change their life. It's more so a transformational funnel. That's what it should be called, because it allows you to do just that, transform somebody's lives over days and not hours.
And is that the psychology behind why you think a challenge funnel actually works? Because it's in the name, right? It's a challenge, like a 3-day challenge, a 5-day challenge, and we'll get into how you choose all of those particulars. But it's because they have a transformation and then they want more.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's a lot of psychological parts that go to it. One, the challenge is just a low ticket. So when most people are doing webinars, they're selling like $1,000, $2,000 offers at the end. When they're doing this challenge, they're spending multiple days with the founder or the talent. They're spending multiple days with that person for a fraction of the cost. So it's like, if I got this for this much of what I spent, imagine what I get if I'll pay more, their high ticket offer that they sell at the end. So that's one of the things. The other thing is, actually holding them accountable to do the work, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people watch your channel that are course creators that sell ebooks, digital products, they in the info space. And we know how hard it is to get somebody to log in and get 70, 60, percent done. So that day by day action, that actual action steps of do this day, do this day, it really, really helps people see the end goal and helps them envision themselves inside of the actual vehicle. So yes, the psychology part of it definitely helps, because it just gives you more time to cook the chicken, as I call it.
And what's been your biggest challenge that you ever run? What was the biggest result you've got?
So biggest challenge that we did was a real estate offer. His name is Nuke the Entrepreneur. We did 1.3 million on a real estate offer for his challenge. And man is just, he's 29 years old at the time that y'all watching this video, but he's a real estate developer, and he is a beast. He's in the properties every day. He knows his stuff you could get that man an open book test and he knows his stuff. But people just gravitate to him because when I see a lot of people that's in the real estate space, they telling you how to do real estate, but they're not in their properties every single day. Like, he's actually in the field every day. So I believe that the trust value was just there, and then also the offer that we offered at the end was just insane. It's like one of those things where it's just like, you have to take this offer, especially if you want to be successful in this niche. And also, real estate niches just do well. It's one of those things where we know real estate, you know what I mean? Everybody has a house, I would hope so, right? Like, you go your life through real estate knowing that it's a necessity. So when presented the opportunity to be able to get involved in that, and you have a coach that's going to lead you every step of the way, those real estate offers do crazy. And that run rate for that event was about 45 days. So we was able to cash collect 1.3 million in 45 days. And then we did like another 300,000 or 400,000, on our selling cycle, which we push out about 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a month, depending on when we wrap up the event.
And what sort of business do you think a challenge funnel is suitable to?
We had this one entrepreneur. She just showed women how to date with standards, and how to really become a high value woman, so that a man can invest into you, into a business, so you're not dependent on his wallet or his financial status. And you'd be surprised, like that might sound like the craziest thing in the world, but it actually does really well. Like, women are already a power force yourself. I mean, just look at you. You know what I mean? You go out here, you do all type of cool shit and travel the world and speak. And I think other women want to step into that, and she's just showing women how to do exactly that. So those offers go good. I think it's more so about the format, right? And when I speak about the format, I'm saying, like, traditionally, when you are doing a webinar, most of the times you're selling people to an offer at the end. And most of the time that offer is $1,000 or more. Like, that's just what we've been taught as marketers. And when you doing these webinars to sell challenge tickets, the most that we really sell on there is probably like a $697, which is like the highest ticket that you could get, but they go as low as $97. So we're in between like 97, and then we do different tiers of the tickets. Like 97 is general, VIP is 197. Then we might do a diamond ticket for like $297. Then we might do a titanium ticket for like $697, and that's like the big package, right? Like, you get the flex, and you know what I mean, get the tell people, oh, this is my status. And one of the cool things that we do is, for every ticket that you buy, you get a badge. So these people get to show up on Zoom with a custom background behind them that says platinum or VIP or titanium or general. And of course, nobody wants to be general, right? Like, you don't want to be on Zoom and see somebody with a VIP badge like you want it. And then also with the challenge, they get multiple perks. So again, we infuse like a lot of gamification in the way that we do it, like bringing a DJ on the first day, bringing a host, and just giving different elements of the actual event, so that way people can get the best experience over the 5 days. It's not just, or 3 days, it's not just, oh, you get this and then boom, you good. No, you actually get this, and when you get this ticket, it gives you access to all of these things. So that's just to give you like some of the psychology and the formatting of it, but they go crazy. It goes super well.
How do you know if you should run a challenge funnel, right? Like, are there certain ingredients? Do you need to have an email list, a big Instagram, a big ad budget? Do you need to have authority? Do you need to have something, or can anybody run a challenge funnel?
Absolutely. I definitely feel like anybody can run a challenge funnel, but the component to running a challenge funnel is running a good webinar. So I already feel like webinars is one of the best ways to get in front of a new audience, get them to hear about your journey, your process, and really close a lot of people at one time, especially if you don't have a big audience. It's like the introduction. When I look at Apple, Apple does the same presentation every year for the new iPhone that they releasing, and since 2018 is responsible for about 50 or 60% of their sales. So I'm big on presentations and being able to present in front of the masses. So yes, anyone can run a challenge funnel, but you have to have a good webinar. That good webinar is going to set the tone for how many tickets you sell into the challenge. Let me tell you, we do 4 to 6 webinars to sell tickets to the challenge. So every week we do one webinar. We run ads to the webinar, and then what we do is we sell tickets to the challenge from the webinar, and we do about 4 to 6 weeks out, so that way we have time to like kind of prepare. If the webinar doesn't do good or it does very well, we can either cut back on ads, fix what we need to fix, and then go and, you know what I mean, make it happen on the next webinar. If it does really good, we can ramp it up and we can really take it to the next level. So a good webinar is going to be the catalyst for a good challenge, and that's just on the paid side. Because there are different models of challenges. Like one of my favorite challenges that I do is I do a 3-day challenge, and I do it free on the front end. And what I do is I do a VIP ticket, and that VIP ticket can range anywhere from $47 to $97. So what that does is I might spend 10, 20 grand on ads, but it might get me, 5,000 to 10,000, people who opt in that come for free. So we'll get 1,700 people to show up on Zoom. When I give the opportunity for everybody to upgrade to VIP on that first day to get their questions answered and to get mentored by me on that first day, everybody take that initial impulse buy, and we initially make our investment back that we spent on ads. So it's really just more so about the strategy that you really got to have outlined before you go do one of these challenges. Here's the thing, it's not hard at all, right? Like all you need is ads. You need a Facebook, a Facebook account to run your ads, and you just need a Zoom account, right? Like we host all of these things on Zoom. Some people do it on YouTube. Like I'm monetized on YouTube, so my last challenge, I ran all of the stuff through Zoom and YouTube, right? So they could go watch the replays. But it's more so about the strategy. Where do you want these people to come in at? What process do you want to take them through? What transformation do you want them to have? And then also, is what you're taking them through, is that going to prepare for them? Is that going to prepare them for you to take them to your higher offer, right? Like most people that come into challenges, they already coming into this challenge knowing like something is broken. I need to fix something. I need something in my business. Something is missing, right? And they come into the challenge for that missing piece. And that accountability and all of those things really help them uncover some of the things that they've been missing. And a lot of times I break it down into 3 things when we working with our partners to run challenges. Most people is going to need execution. They're going to need help with the execution because people are poor at execution. They're going to need accountability. A lot of people won't do this stuff on their own, so they need somebody to help them and hold them accountable to it. And then the other thing is they need community. They need to be in an environment that's conducive for them to take them to the next level, right? It's like you trying to be at home and you working out by yourself. Your results would be way different if you went to a gym and everybody was working out. So that's more so the concept. So yes, everybody could be successful with it as long as you have, the right strategy. And that's what we're here for.
And that is what we are here for. And before we get into it, does that mean then when you're doing a challenge funnel, you always like reverse engineer from the end outcome? Because the end outcome is going to be typically a high ticket sale, right? Like whether that's some sort of program or like a done for you high ticket service, and now you just want to craft out the experience to get them to purchase that. And that's the hard part, right? Like you can run a challenge, but to have them persuaded and psychologically ready to drop 5, 10, 20, 50, 100K on your high ticket, that's where the strategy comes in.
That's exactly where the strategy come in, and that's what we do. Like when we work with clients, it's like, okay, cool. How do we determine what type of challenge is right for them? Because it might not be a 5-day challenge that they need. They might need to run a 3-day challenge. We also did a 1-day summit that did better than some of the challenges that we did. So like what actually format? What format actually fits with that person? And it comes down to like, okay, cool. Do they have organic content, right? Like what channel is working for them that they're getting a lot of leads or organically? Do they have an ad budget, right? And also, have they ever ran ads before? Like all of these things do they have an email list? Like all of these things play in part to define what type of challenge we gonna run. So I'll go over a few different challenges. You got the 5-day paid challenge. which is you charge for every ticket tier, right? So you got general, VIP, platinum, and then you might have a diamond or a titanium ticket. Then you got a hybrid challenge that could be 5 days or it could be 3 days. And on these challenges, you have free on the front end, and then you upsell them to a VIP experience, and you might add some order bumps like a workbook, AI speaker notes, like some really good stuff that they could take with them, right? And then you have like summits, like 1 day events, but it's like a webinar, but it might go from 10 to 1 p.m., right? So it might be 4 or 5 hours. So like those are like the main three. I call them the big three. Those are the main three that we run. There are other types. Like you have 21-day challenges, 30-day challenges, which are like automatic challenges that are like automated, but the content drips on them every single day. But the biggest one that I feel like can have the most success and that people could go and start sooner would be one of those three. Would be a paid, a hybrid, or a one day summit.
And is there a way to know, based on your type of business and who your market is and what your end goal is, what might work best for you out of those three?
Oh, for sure. What we do is, before we even launch an event, what we do to warm everything up and kind of get feedback, we launch a wait list. So we launch a wait list about 14 days before we even think about doing the event. And then what we do is we have the person launch that wait list to see how many people are interested in this actual event, right? And if the wait list is below margins, then what we do is we say, okay, cool, we probably gonna go with a 3-day free on the front end. So that way the person could build a list and we could put more of a smaller event together, smaller budget, but still have the, a big outcome. If they wait list goes crazy, right? Like we anticipate, right? They got good content, they sending out emails, and they wait list gets filled up, then we know people are really interested in this, and it's above margin, and then we can move forward with like a, like a 5-day. Also, one of the things that we do is, when we work with these people, and they have, like, let's just say like they're just starting, right? Like they don't have a really big audience. One of the things that we do is we bolt on speakers who do have an audience, right? Like I will call you like, hey, could you come in and could you speak about funnels on this? And then of course we would make sure that you're on the promotional material, emails, make sure that people are going to know, that you're coming. So now it highlights you, introduce them to the audience, but then now they have more value that they bring into the event. So that's one of the things that we do too. So if a person has a small audience, we use our network to try to bolt other speakers to their event to bring more people who are interested.
And that's like, something that you see maybe like Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, like they're bringing in other big names to like build the hype of this event. What's in it for the speakers when they come? Do you let the speakers pitch, or do you pay them, or is it just exposure? Like why are they doing that?
It's a combination of things. Like Grant Cardone probably did he got one of my favorite challenge funnels that I ever seen done. He did the Unbreakable challenge, and one of the things that he did was unique. Whatever he worked out with the speakers, right? He had them stream the challenge to their Instagram, like live to their Instagram, and all of them had a ManyChat keyword set up that sent the link. And from my understanding, he let them keep the ticket sales. So he let them keep 100% of all of the ticket sales. So, it kind of made it sweet for them. But in return, you got to think about the audience that he got. Like in his Facebook group, he had over 200,000 people inside of that Facebook group, and it was a free challenge on the front end with a upsell. So for the speakers, it really just depends on where you at in your position, what relationships have you nurtured, and then also what are you willing to give up? Like a lot of our speakers, they like, hey, we'll give up 100% of that VIP ticket because we get to sell them something on the end if that speaker is going to do essentially going to do promo on their end. But sometimes it's just 50-50 affiliate. Like we give you an affiliate link, you go set up an affiliate link, and then from there you can say, okay, cool, you know what, I'm going to blast this out to my audience. I get 50% of everything that's made. Sometimes the speakers get a speaker fee. Hey, what's your fee to speak for an hour? We want to add value. We handle all of the promotion and everything. And yeah, like it's a bunch of ways to like work it out. It really just comes down to the relationship. Do the speaker, do it align with the speaker, with their niche and things like that. But it's a bunch of ways that we compensate the speakers, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, and with Grant's example, it's like because he knows the economics of the high ticket in the back end, they can have the front end shit, because for him to have paid that money on ads would have cost more. Like maybe he would have been cutting a loss, like, you know, maybe not like breaking even or profitable. And now he's just tapped into an audience that already trusts that other person. So he's just brought in like the warmest, hottest audiences into his stratosphere.
Yeah, and he had to have like 30 people. Like it was like 30 big names, everybody over 200,000 followers. Like it was some trusted brands that was streaming, and I was like, yo, this dude is a genius. I'm not gonna lie, because that would be something that I would orchestrate, and I was like, dang, like that was good. But it's like, you know, I always say, like, you know, a lot of people know other people's money, but what about the other ones, like the OPA, other people's audience, other OPP, other people's platforms? Like, you really have to use your social currency and really know how to orchestrate some of these things and get creative, so that way you can have a successful event. And you know, it's been opportunities where people ask me to speak. I'm like, yo, I don't want nothing, because I know I'm getting in front of your audience, or I'm getting in front of your stage, and the opportunities that it's going to bring for me and my business. So it's definitely about the presentation as well.
Yes, so we choose our platforms. We run the wait list. Pending the results of the wait list, do you have like a benchmark? Like, do you have like an equation of how you figure out your wait list? Because that's going to hinge on how long your challenge will go for.
Yeah, so I mean, not so much how long the challenge will go for. It'll be more so like what type of challenge, like, you know, are we going to do?
Which one?
Like, do we got people like super interested, or are they not so interested, right? Like that's ultimately what we want to look for, right? And when we do that, one of the things that I want to say is, like, we get 1,000 people to opt in. It's pretty much a good, like 1,000 people on our wait list. It's pretty much a good sign that like people are interested in this, right? Like under 1,000, we like, okay, cool. They still might be interested, but we might want to attract them with the free, like, right? Like not paying nothing. But 1,000 or more is like, okay, no, like people are really interested in this thing. And then also we look at opt-in rate, like. And if a person opts into a wait list, it's not like they getting anything on the background, right? Like you just opting into a wait list. And we do something cool. Like after they opt in, we say, congrats, you're on a wait list. But, you know what I mean, you got priority access to know about it. But that doesn't mean that, you know what I mean, that you're going to be able to get your spot. So, you know, screenshot this, tag us on Instagram. So it's like actually looking at what happens and the action that people take. How excited are they about the wait list? And we clearly state what the outcome is going to be on a wait list. So whatever that outcome is going to be is exactly what our challenge name is going to be. So we're not really like, you know, just guessing it and crossing our fingers. It's really like a strategy and a science to it to know like what we're doing. But 1,000 or more, okay, cool. People want this. Less than 1,000, we might go to a 3 hybrid challenge.
Cool. Something, I think it was Frank Kern, it was like years ago now, and he was running a webinar, and then on the thank you page it was like, hey, obviously I'm going to pitch you something on here, so here's an offer, like this is what I'm going to pitch you, and you can get it at this crazy low price right now. I wonder if you could test something like that in the challenge funnel, like the challenge is going to open, we're going to be charging tickets that, like VIP at this amount, but you can get it right now for this amount, and get people voting with wallets or something.
Yeah, so one of the things that we do that's super cool is when we orchestrate these funnels, right? Like let's just say you come to the webinar and we only got 3 ticket types, right? Like let's just say general, VIP, and platinum, right? Like all of these 3 ticket types will have a different experience. Like VIP, they'll get VIP badge, they might get access to the recordings, right? For like 7 days. If you platinum, you might get access to the recordings for 30 days, but you also might get a kickoff call a day before the challenge where it's like a kickoff mixer where we networking, right? So you get all these perks, plus you might get like a mini training or something like that. So when we on a webinar and we pitch this, what we do is we recommend just everybody get VIP, because those VIP people get an extra hour, and that extra hour is where we get to indoctrinate them a little more, right? But the people who get VIP, as soon as they buy a VIP ticket, from the webinar, they automatically go and get upsold on the second page, the upgrade to pay the difference to get a platinum. And those who buy general admission, they automatically get the upsell to the page to go get VIP. So it's constantly being upsold. And then the biggest driver is that first day when they see the content, when they actually get there and we there, and they like, oh my God, like this first hour was amazing. And now all the general admissions is running to go ahead and get VIP and we get an influx. So we might have a conversion rate of about 3-4% on upsells as far as like tickets go. Then we have standalone pages that people are just like, hey, you know what? I signed up a week ago and I got my general admission, but I want to go VIP now. And all those standalone pages is just charging them the difference of what they would have paid. Our standalone pages convert at about anywhere from 18 to 30%. So we get a high take rate on people just wanting to just initially upgrade after they already experienced that first day. And those where big margins at. Those are big transformations. So it's a lot of energy and effort that go into making sure that the first day sets the tone and making sure people really have that FOMO of missing out, especially when we about to transition from a general room to a VIP room. Everybody want their answers, they questions to their answers, right? Because we just covered a topic and they like, dang, you just gonna lay it on and now we about to go into our room and get some Q&A. So it really does well on the conversion side. But I wouldn't mind trying that, like at the actual offer on day one, no matter whether we doing a 5-day or 3-day, we let them know like, hey, like at the end of this, like we're going to make you an offer. Like I would be doing you guys a disservice if I spend all week with y'all and I give y'all all this game, all this information, and don't give y'all opportunity to implement it in your business. So we anchor the offer on day one, so that way they not spooked. And then also we have a process that we do. We do an application. So we make everybody apply, apply for the offer like midway through the event, which is really cool because we get about a 60 to 70% application rate. And we really, really push heavy on the application, less on the upgrade to VIP, more on the application to see how many people are actually interested in work with it. What we do is it puts the prospect in a mindset to be like, hey, you're not taking everybody. I have to be a serious person to fill out this application, and then also on the sales side to get the sales team the data to really follow up with those people. And we do some cool stuff on the back end that I don't know if you want me to talk about, but I'll share it. I'll share it for you.
Excellent. We will get there. Let's like on that what you were just saying. I think Ryan Dice or someone was talking about this in one of the masterminds I was in, but being like, if you don't tell them that there's something coming that you're going to sell them, they sit in constant fear and defensiveness. Like, when's the pitch? When's the pitch? And so the way that he said it, which I think is great, and it's exactly what you're saying basically, is, like I'm going to pitch something, but it's not even for all of you. It's for the smallest percent of you, and it's application only. And like even like the smallest percent of you here right now, and then we're going to take an even smaller percent on that. And just so you know, like that's coming on the last day, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about that in the VIP sessions or whatever. But that's coming now. It's out of the way. I'm going to teach you like big offer of challenge.
And I feel like it actually helps because what happens is, again, like people sit there and they think like, dang, when is the offer coming? When is the offer coming? When is the offer coming? And the longer you make them wait, the more they sit there with their guard up. And like one of the things that I just did on my last challenge, I was like, hey, you guys could take this offer now, or you could just see the retargeting ads and it's gonna be double the price. And I'm like, yo, I'm only gonna, like, for anybody who don't take the offer, I'm only going to take a list of all of y'all emails, and then I'm gonna be following y'all around the internet. And I showed y'all, and I showed them how to run ads. So I was like, I showed y'all exactly how I did it. So I'm letting y'all know the best thing you could do is take an opportunity right now, or you just leave this event and you see ads and the price is doubled. And we have people paying double the price because the offer is really good. But also, like I tell people, like marketing is not lying. right? Like it's actually telling the truth. And when you tell the truth, people will be like, okay, cool, I can dig that. It's either I can't do it or I can do it. And when you put it out there like that, it helps people actually make a decision clearer, because it's like, dang, well, am I going to do it or not? All right, he's not pressed if I do it. And I call it like the lean, like you have people who are like hardcore sales, right? Like they like hardcore. And like that's like the lean in. Me, I like the lean back. Like, hey, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm still gonna be Runway. Like I'm gonna be cool, right? Like so it don't matter to me. But just know if you come this way, you have to be somebody that's serious and you can't mess around. And people dig that. Like people honestly, they honestly dig that. So I love that. I love that that sales approach. I love selling. I love selling like that. I love letting people know up front like what it's going to be. It don't necessarily have to be a price, but I let them know like it's going to be an offer. I do not run a non-profit business. This is a for-profit business. It is going to be an offer for sure.
Yeah, and people, they appreciate it. Like, because it's a sophisticated market now. It's not 10 years ago running webinars. Like people, they know the drill, right? Just let them know. And in terms of like even energetically, think about the back end, right? If you're doing these like hardcore closes, like your grandma's brain's gonna explode, like if you don't take this up, like, and you get people whipped up into this negative energy and then they come in, it's a fulfillment fucking nightmare, because one, you'll probably get more refunds. Then all of your team energetically gonna have a shit time, like in the back end, having to deal with these people who you've brought in because they're desperate. And so, you know, in marketing, I think it's important to talk about that you understand their pain and whatever, but if you're only focusing on that and getting them riled up about their pain, then all you do is attract in desperate people, which is a bloody headache in the back end, and it's the worst kind of business to build, I think.
And I've had that with some clients, and I was like, yo, like you don't actually have to sell that way, you know that? And they're like, well, that's the only way that I see it. And I was like, nah, like let's restructure this so it actually makes sense. And you know, most people feel like they not going to make money if they don't sell a certain way. Like, yo, if I don't sell hardcore, I'm not going to make money. It's like, actually, like when you take in consideration like the culture of people that you bring in, the headaches, the refunds, and all of that, it's like you actually made less. If you were just upfront and you were just honest, it's like, yo, like I'm not dealing with this, that, and the third. This is my offer, and this is what it comes with. Take it or leave it, and it's like that's just what it is. Like you'll actually, again, you'll get people who appreciate it. Like I have so many people come to me like, bro, I'm so glad you were just upfront and you were just honest about it. Like, you know what I mean? You ain't take me all the way around the block and just to bring me right here. And it's like, nah, like people, again, it's a sophisticated market where they understand it now. It's not, you can't pull a blanket over the customer eyes and try to wow them with Jets, Lambos, and all of that shit. It's like, bruh, we know. So I actually like it better now, to be honest. Like I actually like it better now because it makes people be authentic. It makes you be truly who you are. It makes you put your best foot forward, especially if you're somebody that cares about your people, you care about the results that they get. It makes you put your best foot forward, and it makes you put the client first. How can I serve them? And instead of you just throwing shit at the wall.
Yes, agreed. Now, we've got the wait list, and then the wait list is going to the webinar.
Yeah.
See? Okay, how make a good webinar? Please advise. How to make a good webinar. Can you summarize that in a couple of minutes?
How to make a good webinar? Well, let me start by saying this. Last year, I wrote 103 webinars, and every single webinar that I personally wrote, they all did 6 figures in a month. So let me start there. So I know all about how to write a perfect webinar. What I feel like the perfect webinar needs to have, it needs to have definitely a bold statement. It's kind of like the way that you do YouTube videos, right? Like you gotta have that hook and that promise from the very start and finish, like, of the webinar. They need to know what they're there for, and they need to know what they're going to get out by the end. So definitely you got to kick the webinar off with that. The second thing is the webinar needs a lot of call and response. So what I mean by that, this is one of the things that I feel like people don't do a lot of, because I feel like presenters are scared to talk to people. You wouldn't believe how many people that that are good at social media content, but they hate webinars. I'm like, bro, your social media content is lit. Like, what are you talking about? But they just don't like talking to people. And I feel like the more conversations, the more compensation. So the more conversations that I have, the more compensation I can have. And what I mean by that is like call and response, making them feel that it's a part of it and making everybody feel included inside of the webinar. So our second slide on our webinar deck, one of the things that we put on there is like drop in the chat, where are you from? We call it the icebreaker. And the reason why we call it that is because everybody is going to represent where they from. It's going to allow the whole entire chat to start going crazy, and you just call it out. Like you just call these people out. Alicia from UK, from Bali, wherever you stand at, right? Like you just call it out, and what it does, it makes the person feel singled out and feels heard. So we do an icebreaker at the very beginning of the webinar, because when people hear their name called, they could be in Africa and not know nobody out Africa, but they hear their name called, they gonna turn around. So it's making them feel heard. So a call and response, you want to do that, and you want to do those heat checks all the way through the entire webinar, just making sure that people are understanding, making sure that they are affirming what you're saying. Another big thing is a lot of people go with the Russell Brunson, like the 3 secrets, right? One of the things that I like to do is I always like to go the opposite, right? And instead of the 3 secrets, do the 3 mistakes, right? Because like here are the three mistakes that people are making that's stopping them from getting the result, right? So many people go, again, like we in a sophisticated market, so many people 3 secrets to do this, right? To get this result. No, what are the 3 things that people are not doing? And when you do that, it actually creates a teaching moment, and people leave like, dang, I didn't even know that. Instead of them coming and be like, yo, your secret wasn't a secret. That was some stuff I could YouTube. No, you actually show them where the mistakes lie, and then you put them in a position to where they actually took something away, right? Like, dang, I didn't know people was doing that. I didn't even think about that because I was so focused on the 3 secrets. Another thing is you definitely want to do some type of demo on your webinar. This is something that I got from Billy Jean in like 2019, and like Billy, if you watching this, I stole this from you, bro. So he said you should have a demo inside of the webinar. Like you should demo something. So like take them out of the presentation, break their attention span from looking at slides, right? And like take them, hey, is it okay if I stop this presentation and I share my screen? Show them that you are the expert and show them how to get the result. And then you can even tie a joke in it at the end and say, all right, now I should send all y'all invoice for that because I just did the work for y'all. But actually present the opportunity to show them that you are the expert and you know what they doing. Also, you got to think, again, you said something and it's sticking with me right now, but the sophisticated market, right? When you conducting your webinar, try to have as less words as possible. You know what I mean? Like when you are creating a webinar slide deck, it's very hard for people to listen to you and read slides at the same time. So minimum text as possible. You should be able to explain and create the vision on each slide instead of having everything written out. But the demonstration really allows it breaks the attention span for the people who are multitasking, for the people who are trying to read the slides. It makes them want to pay attention, and I do that demo right before I go into the close. So now I know I have their undivided attention, and I know that they are paying attention because I just came out of what was the typical presentation style. The last thing is I do like 5 polarizing questions that roll into the actual close. So what do I mean by that? Asking them, did they get value tonight, right? Like making sure that they affirm what they're saying. Asking would they like your step-by-step process to go ahead and get X result in X amount of days, making them say yes. Asking them something like, hey, if this only saved you X amount of dollars or made you X amount of dollars, would you say that tonight was worth it? So you're just asking them like polarizing questions that lead into the close. So again, like I said, it's not hard selling, right? But I'm getting you to nod your head and I'm getting you to say yes to the questions. And then the very last question is, can I be a mentor? Can I be the one that holds your hand step by step? Can I personally work with you, with me and my team, and give you the opportunity to work. Let me know if you guys are ready to take action tonight. Let me know who that is. And we call those people out, call and response. XYZ is ready, XYZ is ready, XYZ is ready. And then you make the offer. And when you make the offer, some people like to hold on to the offer. I like to just go ahead. We just going to drop the offer. I'm going to get this out the way because this is the highest point that I will have their attention and I will get their agreement to take the offer. So I'm not going to value stack. I will value stack, but after they hear the offer, hey, this is my offer. This is what it is. Guys, the link is in the chat, but I'm also going to explain everything you getting so you know exactly what you're investing in. And then I go through everything that they getting. I open it up for Q&A for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I go over the offer again. Here's the reason why. When people hear the offer the first time, they're listening to what you're saying. Like they're trying to rationalize, is this good for me? Can I benefit from this, right? And I'm explaining everything. Then when we move to Q&A, they have specific questions. I go over the offer again, and that's pretty much where I make the most money because people don't have to listen to me repeat the offer again. I now have made them sure, and they fully understand what the offer is and what it entails. So. And it also gives me the time to go over price points and payment plans and all of that stuff if I have to.
That's awesome. There was those 3 big things that you just said, I want to highlight them because they're really smart, and sometimes it's like very subtle persuasion or psychological principles that if you're not doing this every single day, like it's easy to miss them. So that thing on the 3 mistakes, 110%. I've been writing a VSL script this week, whatever, and that exact thing. I was like, I'm not putting fucking 3 secrets in here. Like, no one needs these secrets. It's on YouTube, and it's my warm audience. Like, they've watched my stuff. Like, there's no more secrets to give. Yeah. And I'm going to be offering my new implementation program, Ascend, where it's like everything I do in my agency for the first time ever, I'll do it with you, and we will get this bad boy launched. And it's like, if I'm like, you need a funnel. It's like, yeah, bitch, no shit. Like, I've been watching your YouTube for like a year. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like they're already educated, and exactly what you said, the epiphany doesn't come from secrets, but it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, the sophistication of the market. Maybe if you're talking to like 14 to 25-year-old boys, brand new, and you want to sell them like some sort of university, like you can get them into that, right? But if these are like adult business owners or like a certain type of person you're trying to bring in, again, I think this kind of just touches on what you were saying earlier. Don't treat them like they're idiots. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, actually think about the human on the other side. And that's why in marketing, if you create an avatar and give that person a name and truly understand them, that's how you're going to cook up something that's the most persuasive, because you're going to be talking in their language, and you understand them and you care about them. And that's when you come from that point of view in marketing, you make money, because if you leave with servitude and value, the money's just the byproduct of that. The other really smart thing you said was the demo, Dan Kennedy talks about this, like the dramatic demonstration, and for example, the Tony Robbins firewalk, right? But always like control it and make sure that you know what the outcome is going to be. So for example, if you're going to get a random person out of the crowd and get them to interact with the system, make 100%. Sure it's going to work. But that is such a good pattern interrupt, right? And it's like, you need these like pattern interrupts in your webinars and your events to like control the emotion, to take the dopamine up and bring the oxytocin in, to bring like whatever you need to bring in, whatever emotion. So that was awesome on the webinars. Just in case, was there any other really important information on webinars you need to share?
I think more so is like webinars, like I got it broken down to where as though it's a numbers game for me, right? And what I mean by like a numbers game is like we look at these four things to tell whether a webinar is successful. We look at opt-in rate, we look up show up rate, we look at stick rate, and then we look at take rate. These are the 4 things. If you can nail these 4 things, like I'm telling you, you could scale to $100,000 a month easy, right? Opt-in rate should be 30% or better, whether it's to warm or cold audience. If it's not 30%, like you gotta fix something on that landing page. You either gotta take the video off, you gotta update the copy, the headline, like something has to be like fix there? Why are, if every 100 people are coming to the page, why are 30 people not staying? Why are less than 30 people staying? So that's one of the big things that we look at. Show up rate. If we look at show up rate, right? The show up rate has to be 30% as well. If you get 1,000 people to opt in, you should have 300 people. If you open that Zoom room and in 10 minutes, you have not hit your mark, you definitely need to either send out another text message. Something needs to happen because something's wrong in your automations or your system that it did not get delivered. So you got to check that. Also, the stick rate. One of the things that we do, and I know it's softwares that do it, but I've been doing it for so long that it's just one of those things that I like is mandatory, if I'm being honest, right? I have an assistant, a VA on every webinar that we do, and they take attendance every 10 minutes. So our stick rate, right? Like most people say, okay, cool, I got this many people opt in, I got this many people showed up, but how many people was there when you presented the actual offer? If I had 300 people there, but it was only 200 there when I made the offer, we had a 30% drop-off rate. What the heck happened? At what spot in my presentation I need to know so that way I could go back to my presentation and I could fix it. So if I lost 100 people when I went to do my demo, something was wrong at my demo. I need to change my demo at, but I need to know at what stage in my presentation did something happen that I need to go back and fix. The last thing is the take rate. If I had 200 people there, how many people actually took the offer? Because that was how many people was there in attendance that could actually hear my offer. I can't count ears that wasn't there, right? So those four things, like those four numbers really allow me to have success with the events, because I can literally go back to my team or to my clients and I can say, hey, we either spending more money on ads or we need to fix something in our infrastructure here, here, and here, and I know exactly where to fix it. So I get a lot of people that come to me and be like, Runway, can you watch my webinar? And I was like, just give me these four numbers and I can tell you exactly what's wrong. So that's how many times I've done it. But I would say, like, if you really looking to dominate webinars, like that would be the four numbers that you got to live and die by.
And so it's opt-in 30%, show up rate at least 30%.
Yep. Opt-in
what
30%
was the stick
or
rate?
better.
Yes.
30% or better.
Plus, 30% plus.
Yeah.
And then what's the stick rate? So, and just to clarify again, stick rate is the amount of people who showed up but actually made it to the offer pitch.
Absolutely. So stick rate should be 80% or better.
Yeah.
And that's being conservative. You really want 90 for your stick rate, because if people have decided to show up, and you might get a few people that drop off time, things like that. But if you getting anything, like if you getting 20% drop off, like you gotta figure out how to keep their attention. Like you gotta figure out how to throw something in there. You probably gotta do your demo earlier, and then again, keeping that attendance every 10 minutes, that'll let you know exactly where you need to. Maybe you going too slow and you need to speed it up, right? Maybe it's not the actual presentation. Maybe you taking entirely too long to get to the close where people are getting bored, or you taking too long to get to the actual presentation. So yeah, so you got opt-in rate 30%, show-up rate 30% or better. You got stick rate 80% or better, and then your take rate, that's always going to be a variable, right? Like, because not everybody's going to close at 10% like an expert, right? But a 10% is an expert number, so you want to definitely aim for 10%. Don't aim for closing nothing under the 10%. So you got 200 people there, you should be able to close 20 of those people out with no problem.
Awesome. And with the stick rate, or like even just measuring it, I do the same as you. I just have somebody in there watching it, and then when we have a chunk of people drop, it's like, that was shit. Go back and fix that. But that's all it is. Like once you know the data, and what you're saying is you just need to identify which part of the funnel is broken. Because I'm the same people like, oh, can you watch my VSL? Can you look at my funnel? Like I don't need to. Like I can give you my opinion. Just give me the data. And most people aren't even tracking this data, and then you don't know what to fix, right? Because you can't actually pinpoint what is wrong. And what you're saying is, once you know these metrics, then as like you would have these playbooks to then fix. Okay, opt-in page is 15%. Cool. Someone go and run this playbook and fix it. And then next, and then next, and then next.
Exactly. Like, and I've turned so many offers around by not even touching the presentation, just by like, yo, y'all not split testing the opt-in page? Like, and I literally took somebody from, like, I literally just showed them my stories the other day. I was like, yo, for my own event, one of my pages was at 32%, and then we split tested it with a shorter version of the page. We call it like a no scroll page. It was converting at 42%. I was like, yo, I split test my own stuff. You know what I mean? So like I literally turned people's stuff around just by like, yo, just put a split test here, a split test there, and y'all good. Like, I'm talking about like people have 7%, 8% opt-in rates. I'm like, nobody's watching this. Let's go split test this. Let's move this up. Move this up. All right, we're gonna optimize it for mobile a little more. Boom, they back up 30% in 3-4 days. And like all I did was just fix like 2 things. So I live by those numbers, like literally live by those numbers. It's to the point where going into an event, right? Going into a webinar, I can see the numbers and I know exactly how much money we gonna make. Like, I got calculators built for the numbers that I'm telling you. Like, you punch these numbers in, how much did I spend on ads? How much was my cost per lead? What was my show up rate? What was my take rate? Like, and it will spit you out the exact amount that you will get if all of those things are, you know what I mean? All those things are right. And we use those numbers as basement numbers.
And that's the thing, the math has to math.
Every time.
The equation that I do is like economics plus psychology times technology, but especially with all of this AI, and I'm sure you get asked about like, and I'll probably ask you, AI, like what are you using? But it's fucking useless if you don't have your economics. Like, I used to have it the other way around, psychology, economics, but it's not. It's like, make the math work, like then like get the psychology working, and then have the right tech to bring it to life.
100%. Like, and I agree with you so much. Like, the math has to math, right? On every, it got to make sense in sense. And you can't go and try to do all these, you know, sales tactics and all of the psychology stuff if you ain't got the math right? Like, if you don't know what you could put in and what you could get out, like, none of the other stuff makes sense. And then, you know, also, you know, technology is like the last thing, because it really does, it does the heavy lifting for us. It makes all of the stuff that was hard 2-3 years ago, it makes it, you know what I mean, super easy, you know what I mean, super easy now. But definitely, we using so many AI tools. You know, we got N8N, we got so many things that we got built, like AI wingman bots, like the webinar wingman. So the webinar wingman that we got built, we use it internally and we use it for our clients. This is a person after the client opts in, the webinar wingman to take control of that client and start asking them questions like, what are they excited about to learn? Just kind of like nurture the relationship. And then that webinar wingman will reassign himself to that person if that person did not make a purchase. So if that person did not make a purchase on a webinar, it'll wait to the next business day so it can stay compliant, so it's not texting them after 9 o'clock. And what it'll do is it'll follow up with them the next day and say, hey, this is at the third, and try to sell them the offer. So now you have AI acting as a salesperson to try to resell an offer in a nurture sequence by just asking them questions. Well, what was your biggest takeaway? Well, what did you like? And, you know what I mean? Well, where are you at right now? And then really giving them qualifications about, you know, where they at monetarily, and just really making the best offer for them. So that's been something that's been real cool. On the agency side, we have a AI just building out the challenge. So we have a custom automation, a bot built that when we put in the client's Instagram name, we put in a website, we put in a YouTube, it will literally go and scrape the entire Instagram for the best converting content. It will transcribe it. And then also what it'll do is it'll create a whole project brief of challenge name examples, ticket prices, and ticket names. It'll like everything that we built for a challenge, we just drop those 3 things, and then the AI bot will go build the entire challenge for us. So now when we get on a call with a client, we just like, do you like this, and this, and it just makes it easy for us. So those things are really, really cool when it comes to like just automating, you know, some of the stuff that we had to do hands-on.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then what haven't I asked you about challenge funnels yet?
I think one of the things that you have not asked me about challenge funnels is, that's a good question. I think one of the things that you haven't asked me that I probably could tell you is we actually do one. Like, okay, when do you do a challenge funnel, right? Like, can anybody do a challenge funnel? Yes, but like when do you do one? So I think that people, depending on what type of challenge you're doing, you should run a challenge like at least 4 times a year, right? Like if you get to the point where you could do multiple, like you could do, you know, once every other month and you could get 6 out of the year, that's good. But the challenge is not to be, it's not like a webinar. You don't run it every week. You know what I mean? These are like big cash injunctions. And one of the other things, like, okay, what price point do we sell from a challenge, right? Like, I think that's super important for people to know, so they know like what they can expect to bag and how the heck did, you know what I'm saying, I do $1.3 million on a single challenge. I think that they would want to know that. So, so for 3-day challenges, we sell offers 5,500 and under, all right, because it's just 3 days. The time of indoctrination is less. I'm not saying that you can't, you know, sell an offer over 5K. I'm just telling you based on like what we've seen and what we got massive results for. 5,500, over 5,500 for 3 days is tough, right? 5 days, you're gonna do pretty much 5,500 all the way up to about 40,000, right? And that's pretty much like what the ratio is for the challenges. And normally when we do these challenges, right, our goal is to essentially do about anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million per quarter when we, you know what I mean, partner, you know what I mean, with our clients, or we do it for ourselves. Like that's the goal. And really, you set the mark at where the revenue should be at. Like we had clients with 3,000 followers that did, you know what I mean, 200,000 on a first go around, just because we had clear messaging, we had clear marketing, and we had a clear offer right at the end, and we just took people through the process, and it was only 3 days. And then with the real estate offer, there's a lot of things that go into real estate. So we spent a lot more time with them, right? Like created a whole experience, and then went to a $7,500 offer. So our goal, what we do is we put our goal like, okay, what is our revenue goal? And then we reverse engineer it. Okay, cool. How many people can we handle at 7,500? And how the hell do we do, you know what I'm saying, a 1.3 million? You get what I'm saying? Like, can we actually handle 250 people at $7,500? What do the customer service look like? What do the onboarding process look like for all of these people? Like, how are we going to manage all these people? I think that's what people don't think about. And we'd have had some clients that did way better than expected, right? And then like, okay, cool, you know what? We got to add an extra call to like get all of these people onboarded because we got more than what we anticipated. We did better than what we did. So that's one of the things that I felt like that I could add that wasn't asked. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, what was that price point that you charged to make 1.3 million? So, and again, you know, 7,500 in the real estate space for it was 8 weeks. I like to go with 8-week boot camp, so I like to go with 8-week fulfillment time. Only because of the psychology of it. It's like at the 8 weeks, I just feel like the average person it's like college. They stop showing up. They only come around when it's midterm. So like what I found is like 8 weeks is like the real go-to as far as like fulfillment. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Anything long, and it depends on your market, but anything longer is like, too long. Anything shorter can be like, how do you give me? I'm gonna test, and I haven't tested this before, but doing like 6 weeks with 2 bonus weeks. So it's like, it's 8 weeks anyway, but here's 2 bonus weeks valued at blah. And like, so like I can keep supporting you afterwards and that sort of thing, which I think is awesome. How do you work with your clients? I'm just gonna plug my charger in. Keep talking. Yeah, like do you, like is it profit share?
Yeah, so everything we do is performance based. So what we do is like when we partner with our clients, we come on. I always tell my clients this. This is pretty much like how we pitch our clients. Like, yo, give me 4 hours a week, we'll take care of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give me the one hour and a half for the webinar, another hour and a half for a coaching call, and then another hour for content. Like, we'll take care of everything. You know what I mean? Everything else. And then we full service, so we handle everything from the funnel, the video editing, the content. We running a paid traffic, and then also they get access to me, so I'm hopping in there and I'm helping them with the strategy. Because if it's a revenue opportunity, my money is attached to it too. So the more successful you do, the better, you know what I mean, the better I can get paid. So I'm heavily involved with our partners, just making sure that, you know, I provide them with the mindset, also the strategy, and just giving them the day-by-day play, right? Like, it's easy to give somebody like the videos. Oh, I recorded some videos and I'm gonna do this on day one, right? No, I'm actually on the phone with my clients like, hey, it's day one. This is what we need to do on day one. This is what we need to anchor today. This is what we, you know what I mean? This is the goal of today, and really just like outlining it for them so that they understand the assignment for that day. And then also just putting them with the supporting cast. I got an amazing team. So, like, you know, when we got a DJ that come on, when we got a host, like, it really just edify the host, and that makes them feel good. It makes them, you know, do their job. Like, for instance, right, like, we might have 300-400 people on a VIP session. You can only imagine how many people are trying to, like, overlap each other, ask 2-3 questions, and they only can ask one. But just having that host there to kind of have that order and that conduct to be like, yo, one question, please, we got a lot of people here, just say my question is, like, it makes a big difference, because the person just gets to show up and don't have to experience that burnout. So so that's how we work with our clients. We do interview all of our clients, so we don't just accept anybody. They depending on, you know, what the niche is and what the following is. We do have certain requirements for clients to work with us, and for us to work with our clients. So it is it's an interview process. We want to make sure we're a good fit for our clients, and we want to make sure our clients is a good fit for us, so that way we can have, you know, a successful turnout.
And is one of the things you look for that they're going to be charismatic and competent on camera, or would you bring somebody else to? Because I've written a lot of webinars and done a lot of this stuff, right? And sometimes they get in their own head. So what will happen is they'll get to the close, and then it looks like I'm off camera, like, fucking sell, and you can just see like the energy goes because they're so uncomfortable closing or whatever, right? So it's like, do you look for that, or do you have ways to overcome that if someone's crap on camera?
Yeah, so we actually, I'm not gonna say the name, but we actually had a client that he was just super calm, right? Like, he just had a calm demeanor, and that's cool. That's just how he is. That's how he show up online. But that's what bringing that host does. That host is allowed to bring that energy and really just just bring the element, you know, to it. And we put the DJ, because people like different things, right? But one thing we know, people love music, people love hosts, and I know my hosts love to be edified. So I don't look for them to be like, you know, the things I look for clients is, I look for somebody that's coachable, somebody that actually, like, you know, cares about, you know what I mean, actually, you know, doing a challenge, and that's serious about their business, not somebody that got 4 or 5 things going on and they could care less about, you know what I mean, you know, the event, right? So definitely somebody that's coachable, somebody that listens to the strategy that we get. Definitely like an executor. If I put it on your table, my team outline it for you, they give it to you. Like, let's just knock it out. Let's get it done. I also look for somebody that's just good with content and consistent with content. So you ain't got to be the most personality, but, like, are you consistent with content? Do you understand content, right? Because if I got to come in and I got to, like, coach you on the content piece, I feel like I'm trying to force you to post. You get what I'm saying? So those things always tend to hold us, you know what I mean, hold us back a little bit. So definitely somebody who just understands content, right? And then the last thing, just having a budget to run ads, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's a lot of people that rely on organic, but we do both, right? Like, we want to make an event as good as possible. We want to open up retargeting if we got the budget to. We want to open up to bring, you know, cold traffic if we have to. Like, we want to get every opportunity out this, you know what I mean, out this event that we possibly could get. So those will be the key factors. You know, and somebody who just want to show up and don't, you know what I mean, just don't want to experience burnout. You just want to show up and just teach and just be in your element, right? That's really what we look for. I don't think it's hard, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. and I am going to take everything you just said and run a challenge funnel soon. You gave me a good idea for a new qualifying question for our program, which is just like, because we're going to be like doing what we do in the agency, so funnels and ads,
100%.
but done with you. So it's like, is your number one priority right now getting more leads and sales? Yes or no? If you press no, I'm not going to fucking talk to you. Like, why would I talk to you? But it's like, it's good, right? Like, and this is what you've said a few times. Again, just to double down on some of the things that you've mentioned is asking them questions and getting them saying yes and getting them to tell you why they should be your client. Like, it's like a one-to-one sales tactic as well. Like, I'll say, and it's not to manipulate somebody. It's like, well, I'm awesome. Maybe you're awesome, but there's one of me and there's millions of you. So like I'm detached, like I don't mind. So it's like, this sounds like a good idea for me. I can see how it will help you, but why does it sound like a good idea for you? And if they're like, oh, I don't know, well then why are we here? Like, see you later. I've got another sales call. Like, let's end this.
100%.
So just to highlight that.
I think once we started to do those things, it kind of put us in position where we say no more than we say yes. And like, that's a good position to be in, because what we realize is like, hey, if an engagement goes too long without us being at the point where we're getting sales, I still have a team and I still have overhead, right? Like, so it's like, now I'm coming out of my pocket to pay team for an event that we didn't even execute on yet. So it's like, you know what I mean, I'm very conscious about the people that we take on. Is like, you know, I understand every horse not going to run the same race. I understand, like, you know, every event is not going to be the most successful event, but we never had an event that wasn't successful when people had those things. We putting out the content, you were super coachable, you listened to what I said, we executed, you know what I mean, at you know, I know it gotta be lightning speed, but we had timelines, we met every deadline, and then we put on a great event, and it went good every time. Like, you gotta think, like, these people, like I always tell people, like, you're gonna make more with us than by yourself, right? Like, that's really the goal. Why? Is because I already have the infrastructure figured out, and I got the sales team on the back end that's gonna sell for you, and you serving them hot leads. We just warming everybody up, you know what I'm saying, for 3 to 5 days, and then we gonna let our sales team just, you know what I mean, put a hug around them, like a virtual hug around them, and close the deal. And that's really, you know what I mean, what I like to do. I like to see an event go from a thought to a conversation, you know, on a Zoom, to like, dang, we actually doing this. So it's supporting an entrepreneur through the whole way, because they didn't know how to do it and they didn't know what to expect. So yeah, it's fire.
That's awesome. And now, where can people find you and after this episode?
You already know I'm super big on Instagram, y'all. So y'all definitely gotta go on my Instagram, Runway_Billionaire, and shoot me a DM, because I DM back. I talk to people. I talk to people. So yeah.
What about your YouTube? Have you got your new YouTube videos out yet?
I do. We got one launching next week. My first video is on Facebook ads, so you can go to the Runway Billionaire channel. We actually are turning the YouTube into a show, so we are going to have some value there. I'm launching my first show in August. My first episode to my show. I'm gonna be launching episodes on my podcast, like just content, but my actual first show is going to be launched at August. I'm speaking at an event called Podcast Summit, so I'm gonna release my first podcast episode at the Podcast Summit. It's gonna be fire. Yeah.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. As promised, that was fire, and it was a really, really valuable episode. Thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.